Okay, I just want to quickly show you how a clipping mask works in Illustrator, but I'll just recap how a clipping mask works in Photoshop. Now, in this is a Photoshop recap. If you have a layer with some pixels on it, okay, now this layer has got it's got a shape of a man dancing, but I'll just explain. As long as you have some pixels on a layer and you have another layer on top of it, you can right click on the top layer and say create clipping mask. What that does is it puts the top layer inside the bottom layer. Okay, so if you have a shape like this and you put a photograph of Brisbane city or something on top, you can right click and choose create clipping mask. Now any layer or effect you want, you can add it at the bottom. You can add your shadows and everything at the bottom, and that works fine. Okay, so this was the way it's done in Photoshop. Same thing in Illustrator, and I showed you earlier the logo that I did for a client of mine, where I put the map of Australia inside the kangaroo. So the way this works is, and I'll show you how it is done. I'll just release the clipping mask. So you have an object, I need to ungroup it. Object, ungroup, object, ungroup. Okay, the way this one works is I have this image. This is also a vector. It doesn't have to be, it can be a bitmap. And I have this kangaroo sitting here. The main thing is this object, which is going to act as a mask, it has to be on top. So you must right click, say arrange, bring to front. It must always be sitting on top of the object that it is going to mask. And this object must be closed, which means you must select the object and make sure object path join. Make sure it is actually closed. It is closed. And if you select both of them, you can say object clipping mask make, and that becomes a clipping mask. Now if you want your shape back, you have to use the white arrow tool to click on the edge of the shape, and then you can click on the stroke color and give it a color. And if you want to manipulate it, you have to go to Windows, stroke, and then manipulate the thickness of it, because now it's a compound object. It won't easily allow you to select, it's together, it won't allow you to select individual components easily. You can use the white arrow tool, however, to adjust the mask and so on. Okay, so that's the clipping mask, and you can use it for various reasons, and you can see how I've used it. You can see I used it even in later on when I modified this logo. You can see I put some Aboriginal artwork inside it. So you can see now the kangaroo has got actually some Aboriginal art inside it. So that's again clipping mask. Okay.